Okay. If you're with me, if you can also see my screen, I have opened the data set already. And this data set has six sheets. If you can confirm that with me. 6 sheets, right? Please, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Is my screen big enough? Is my screen, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
It's large
big
enough.
enough.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we have 6 sheets. We have the patient table. We have the visit table. We have diagnosis. We have treatment. We have the labs, and then we have the calendar sheet. All right. So our normal cleanups is simple. I told you that you can do few cleaning up either here or we do it directly in Power BI. But since we know here, let's just go straight to Power BI, and then we will do all the necessary stuffs there. So very simple. Just double click on your Power BI and then allow it to launch. Okay, so these are Power BI. It has already showed us the welcome screen, just as other apps. And it's asking us we can get data from anywhere. Either we want to start a blank note or we go straight in bringing our data into it. So let's start with a blank. If you want to bring your data, you can just go straight to where your data is, and then you launch it straight into it. But let's start from a blank report. Report, yes. So as you can see now, I'm on my report view. We talked about each of these the first time we opened Power BI, so we're just going straight into the actual analysis. So we have the report view, which is this. We have the data view, table view, sorry. And then we have the model view, and then our DAX query view. All right. So now I want to bring in my data set straight into Power BI. I have in mind the data set is in Excel workbook, right? Is either you get it from here or you click on Excel directly here. It's very simple. On the home ribbon, you click on Excel work. We scroll down to where your data is, and then this is my data set. And then you click on it. Stella, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Shola, are you following me? Mr. Shola, are you there? You're following me, sir. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Joseph, you're with me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I needed to import my data accordingly. So Power BI is showing me what he could find on that data set, the file itself. So he's telling me that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables there. If you see stuff like this, there are icons for tables. So the calendar is there, diagnosis is there, lab, patient, treatment, and visit tables is available. So you can click any of them and then preview. The preview will appear here, as you can see. Now, assuming I just click on load, assuming I didn't do anything, instead of clicking transform. Have in mind, I told you that we need to come and do field cleaning, but let's assume that I click on load without transforming. Wow, Fatima has joined us. Hello, Fatima. Good evening. Hello, Fatima. All right. As you can see, Power BI is loading those tables into our data model, and then it will be ready for us to start our cleaning, and then we launch straight to analysis as required. Fatima, can you hear us, please? Okay. So now, as you can see on my report view, it's telling me build visuals with your data. That means it has gotten data and the data are ready. And then at the right hand side of my screen, you agree with me that you can see the data pane here showing the 6 tables listed there, listed here, ready for analysis. Our visuals are ready. The visuals are ready, as you can see, and then everything is okay. But let's look at the cleanups I told you about. Now, this is the report view, which is this. Now, let's go to the table view itself. Now, the table view will now display each and every table that was sent into the Power BI itself. Now, from here too, you can do 1 or 2 cleanups, just like this. Now, I just click on this and say, oh, well, I don't want date and time. I only want just date alone. Just select the whole of that, the whole of the column. Click here and click on your short date, and immediately it will happen, right? If that is the only thing you want to do. If you want to also delete any column of your choice, you right click and look at delete here. You can do anything, sort, copy, new measure, new column, everything you want to do. But once you right click on that column, it will just be ready for your analysis, right? So we can do both before entering the Power BI just by clicking transform, or even though you have entered Power BI, you can still do your correcting, your editing, your cleaning up before you start your visuals or your DAX. Now, maybe that was calendar. Let me check if there's any long date that I need to make it short. Okay, like this. I come to my ribbon here tab there, and then I'll click on short date. That is all. Come to patient. If there is a date there, registration date, I'll select the column, come up to the ribbon, and then click on short date, and that will just occur automatically. All right, so treatment, there is no date. You can scroll left and right. Now we have visit date. Simple. Click there, come to your ribbon, choose short dates. All right. Uh, do you have any challenge, any question before I could proceed? All right. So I hope there is no challenge. Is this person there? Fatima, can you say hi to the class, please? If she's still there. Okay, it seems she's not there. All right. Stella, are we together, Stella? Stella, are we together?
I want to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, you know, this Power BI, I have not been following it up very well. So I think I'll just take my time after the class and go through the lesson again. Because
It's right.
currently I don't even have a system again to work with. So I will be a little bit visualizing the
All
class
right.
work.
It's ready. It's well. All right, let's continue. Now, after cleaning, before we start building our visuals, we need to do what is called a model building or relationship or connecting, right? So just come down to your model view and click on it. Come down to your model view and click on it. Okay. After clicking on that, let me collapse some of this so that we will see everything. All right. So let me see if I can reduce the zoom so that I could have everything on screen. Okay. Let me rearrange this. Rearranging it is simple. You click on the header and then you drag to where you want to take it to. Just click on the header, then you drag it to where you want to keep it. Just pick and drop. There is no challenge in rearranging it. All right, so maybe I've rearranged it the way I want for now. And then if you can see with me, you find out that there are some connectivity that's already, the connector has already been determined by Power BI. But nevertheless, though it's correct, let me still delete them. So that I'll do mine exactly. Let me just delete all the default connection that's taking place already. Okay, now I told you the reason why we need to connect. We need to connect uh, tables together. The reason is that there's some information that you will need from another table that is not on that your very singular table. So you need to make those connections. There's some information that I need that I can't find. Assuming I only have visits table, I will not have some other information that may also warrant the creation of beautiful views. So we need to make some connectivity to all these tables in case I want to do number one my DAX calculations, or I want to also preview in respect to any information that is also in another table. I hope you understand my explanation, though it's not plain enough. What I'm trying to say is that treatment may have treatment cost, and then the patient that paid the money is in another table, right? And then maybe you want to preview which patient paid the highest amount, but the treatment is in another table. So that means you need to link these two tables together so that the information about the patient and the information about the treatment can relate together and you can get them anytime you want. So that is why we need to link tables together. Now, before a table could be linked together, as it were, they must have a connector, a common variable between them. They must have a common variable between them. All right, so from the common variable is what is used to link tables together. All right, so let's start. Let's start with visit. As you can see, visit has a lot of things here. So we have treatment ID, visit, patient ID. Let's start with visit. Patient ID is here, and this is patient table, right? So, and there's patient ID here as well. So very simple. Click on any of the patient ID and drop it on the other patient ID on the next table. A dialog box will appear like this to ask you one or two questions. The answer for you to give is just okay. Oh, my screen. Let me see. Let me reduce this so that I can have all information on screen. All right, so you can now see save here. As you can see, there is save here. So very simple. Patient ID is comfortable with patient ID here, which is from one to many, uh, you know, facts or values. So you just click on save. So you can see a connection has been made between patient table and visit table, right? Okay. Now let's look at this now. So a treatment on treatment table, if you can look at it very well, there's what we call visit ID on treatment table. There's visit ID. And then on visit, there's also a visit ID here. So it's very simple. Click any of the visit ID and drop it on the other visit ID that is also there. And then it will bring out this dialog box to confirm your connection or relationship, as the case may be. And then you say, yes, I'm okay with that. You click on save. The connection will be created. Right? As simple as that. Now coming to labs. Labs, there is date on labs, which is test date. And then there is also date on visit table, which is visit date. Now, very simple. Either you drag test date to visit date, or you drag visit date to test date. Now, I want you to see this error. I don't know if you can see my screen very well. I want to show you this error. If you look at it very well, you found that this is not actually connecting. They told us that the relationship has a cardinality of many to many. What does it mean? Many means that there is duplicates in these two tables as regards to date. There is duplicate of date. As you can see, there is one duplicate of date here in these two tables. That is called many to many. It should be duplicate to single, like duplicate to one item before it could match. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. This visit has a multiple date, multiple duplicated date, and then lapse date also has multiple duplicated date. That is why it's called many to many. Right? So is that the system is telling us that it will be confusing for us to know how to match each of when it comes to date. It will be better for us to use a date many to single, just like other connection we did, relationship connection we did. Many to single, which is facts to multiple information about the fact. With that, this computer will be able to filter all the duplicates using the one factor as a control, that any place it sees this singular date, filter all events concerning it, and then merge them together, right? Then bring all the information as requires that singular date, and not having many duplicates, and then we don't know the one to go with or the one not to go with. I don't know if you understand my explanation. So this connection is not accepted, so we just leave that and then use another thing that will link the two together. Let's look at visit. On labs, there's visit ID, and then there's also visit ID. Let's try visit ID. Now, as you can see, many to one, many to one, meaning that there is a many visit ID on the visit table, but there is an individual ID, visit ID on the lab table. That individual patient that visited the visit ID table was filtered out into the lab table visit ID column. And then with that, there is no duplicate, whereas there is a uniformity of filtration when it comes to locating that very patient using visit ID. I don't know if you understand what I just tried to explain now. So let's save this relationship. Let's do another connection now. Now we have visit ID, diagnosis, visit ID. There's a diagnosis that has visit ID. Now, diagnosis here is also comfortable with the connectivity because visit ID here have multiple, duplicate, but the diagnosis has single information concerning each visit patient or outgoing patient. There is a particular singular visit ID for each patient. But on the visit date, a person can visit a hospital 10 times, and then the whole 10 times she was recorded on the visit table or the visit platform, that she came here, she came again on a day. So that is why we have multiple ID for one person, right? I hope you could understand that scenario. All right, so let's save and let's continue. We are filling this table. So this table now, calendar, let's use date, visit date to normal date. All right, it's date and visit date is just one to many, and then the connectivity is agreed. Now we have connected all the tables to each other. With this connectivity, you can stay on treatment table and remove any information from calendar table. As all of them have been connected together, you can stay from treatment table and remove any information from calendar table. You can stay from lab table and remove any information from patient table. You can stay here and drag any information as you wish from any of those tables, and then it will work out fine for you. All the tables here are interconnected. All the tables are interconnected, and they will work accordingly. Okay, so these are the relationship. A relationship ought to be built first if you have multiple tables. And remember, we did this relationship in Excel when we were talking about Power Pivot. We did this connection in Excel. So this is how Power BI connectivity occurs, right? So after doing this, the next thing is for us to start um, creating measures. Measures. Now on the home ribbon, if you come down here, there's what we call new measure and there's quick measure. Now, new measure is to work directly with a formula bar. While quick measure will make you to make use of drag and drop columns in calculating what you're looking for, right? Quick measure. Now you just need to drag and drop your columns and then you find your calculation done as the case may be. But let's start our visuals first. Sorry, let's start our DAX formulas first using new measures. Okay, first, let's look at total visits to this hospital. Total visits to this hospital. Now, if you type total visit compared to our Power Pivot, where we created DAX in Excel, we always put column and then equal sign. But here in Power BI, there's no need of putting column, just the equal sign that is required, right? So that is the difference. And then we want to look at the total visit. It's very simple. We use a formula called count rows, and then we pick up visits, and then we cover the bracket, and we press enter. Now our total visit has been calculated. Here is already here. As you can see on my data pane here, total visit is here. If you want to see it, let's pick card, let's drop card, and then just click on it. You find out that total visit is 1,000. So the total visit is 1,000. As simple as that. Okay. So let's continue with our visuals. The next measure we need to create is total patient. How many patients came to this hospital? Total patients, very simple. Now we are using a DAX formula called distinct count. There's a question I was soon asked. Now, why are we using distinct count for patient? Let me type the formula first. Patient of patient ID. Who can tell me why we are using distinct count on patient, but we did not use distinct count on visits? Joseph. Joseph.
Yeah, so
Why do we use distinct count on patient ID, but we didn't use distinct count on visit? It's an English question. It's not an Alice question.
well, to my own understanding, I think for visits, a particular patient can visit so many times, numerous times. Why for patient ID, each patient has to have their own unique ID, so they have to be distinct from one another.
Let's assume that. Let's assume that. Let's assume that what you are saying is correct. Total visits 2. Total visit 2. Let's try that. Distinct count visit. Visit ID. Are we seeing that the answer is still 1,000? Stella, Joseph.
Sir?
Okay, you're with us. Joseph, are we seeing that the answer is still 1,000?
Yes, sir.
Now, I wanted you to answer the question on English basis and not any base at all. Distinct means to handpick the unique values, isn't it? That is the meaning of distinct. Distinct means pick out unique values from all the duplicates that are there. Pick out the unique values, right? That's why we still have the same number, which means that let me take you here. Which means that the visit itself that I used under visit was actual unique in its arrangement, but the visit ID is not unique. It has multiple duplicate in it. That is why we use the word distinct count. So distinct count now filters all the unique values there and then count them, and then it now gave us the answer, which is 1,000. Please, are you with me now? Hello, Stella.
Hi.
You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Stella,
No.
you understand?
No.
Okay, let me just say it once. But Joseph, you understand what I mean?
No, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Thank you for even saying it. Now, let me come back again. I said, remember that on our total visit that we did, let me click on it. We did not put any visit distinct count. We did not put distinct count on the total visit, but it gave us 1,000. And now ask, why are we now putting distinct count DAX formula for patient ID? Why didn't we put distinct count, but we use ordinary count rows? Are you getting my question now? Do you understand my question now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why are we now using ordinary count rows? Let me even type the formula for you so that you understand the difference. Why are we using ordinary count rows? Because we did total visit. Let me just write TV for total visit. TV is equals to count rows. We did count rows, and then we now put visits there, and
And
then
we close the bracket.
we say enter, and then it gave us. If I even click TV now, you found out we still have 1,000. But when it came to ID, patient total patient, let me just say TP for total patient. Let me just write TP here. TP for total patient. We needed to, instead of using count rows, we used distinct count. Distinct count. instead of count rows. So I was now asking you why. So I now told you that anytime you use distinct count, you are using it on, in fact, let me not even say the answer. Let me put distinct count on visit. Have you seen a red underline there?
Mm.
Yes. It's telling us that it will throw us an error. Let me press enter. Look at, there's an error already. Now, the distinct count function only accepts a column reference as an argument. But what me I'm also saying, apart from column reference, as the case may be, anytime you use distinct count, you are counting out of, remember when we were doing this relationship, I was telling you that it is one to many. As you can see, there is one here and there is star here. Now, if you want to count anything that carries this star, which is visit ID, anything that carries this star, this very one, have in mind the same visit ID here on visit table is unique. But the same visit ID here on treatment table is not unique. It's not unique, it's multiple. That is why we have star here. I don't know if you're getting me. Now we have star here because there are multiple visit IDs of the same unique visit ID on the treatment table. Let me not say it multiple, let me use the word duplicate. There are duplicate visit ID of the same unique visit ID on the treatment table. There are duplicate visit ID here. Now, if you want to count visit ID on this treatment table to have your accurate number, to know the total visit people or persons that visited on this treatment table using this treatment visit ID, you need to put distinct count because it has multiples. It has duplicates of the same number, of the same ID. I want you to get why we are using distinct count. If you don't know the function of each of these DAX formulas, you will not know when, on how, and also how to use it. You must know what and what do they stand for and how are they used, right? Joseph, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Say no. If you say no again, I can still go back again. Because once you understand this very small one, then the
So,
rest of what I'll be doing, you
hello,
get them.
sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You are talking of multiple duplicates. The
Yes.
normal, sorry, coming from the English term, not in an analytical
Yes.
section.
Yes.
When they
Yes.
say duplicate, it means something is two, or something that is one is being duplicated into two. So now,
Yes.
try linking this visit ID on treatment and visit ID on visit. Let's see. Let me understand the duplicates you're talking about, because if the dates are different.
Okay. Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
I went to a hospital, Adams Hospital, to visit a friend, right?
Okay.
I went there in the morning by 7. I was
Okay.
clocking and I came by 7. My friend has said, please go and buy me. I want to eat this. I left by 7 and came back that same day by 10:30. I was logging.
Okay.
I clocked in before I could
Again.
pass. The system captured that I, with this ID, came by 10:30. I went outside, I came back by 3:30. I clocked in. The system recorded that I also came. The same ID, clock in that I came by 3:30. I went out and came back by 7:30. My same ID is also registered that I came back by 7:30. So all those multiples of that same ID
Mm.
is what is known as multiple. Are you getting me?
Okay.
Is what is known as many. That many that I showed you, that is the
Yes.
sign of the many. This star is the sign of the many.
Okay.
Now, but on the visit itself, the visit table itself needed to filter out the total persons that visited that hospital on their unique ID instead of having the multiple IDs,
Okay.
right? So when once you start filtering out everybody, whether he came to the hospital 2 million times a day, and you just pick out one unique value, that one unique value is what is represented by one. So the unique value is found here. Any place you
Okay.
see one, any place you see one, that place, that table carries the unique value of that very uh, fact or what information. But any place you see star, then the table that carries star carries multiple values of the unique value itself. So that is the
Okay.
explanation of both, multiple and unique. And then coming back to what I was trying to explain, that distinct value, distinct command, or distinct whatsoever DAX expression will filter these multiple, will filter the unique from the multiples.
Okay.
I don't know. Yes, this formula, distinct count, will filter the unique out of the multiple, since I did not use the unique to make. Have in mind, in fact, let's look at, sure, I'm doing patient, right? Patient ID.
Mm.
Is it patient ID I was doing? Let me go back to it. All right, let me take you back to view. Okay, so those are the understanding of one to many and then many to one filtration and distinct counts. So total patient, have I done total patient? No. Total patient is equals to distinct count, and then distinct count as well works with columns. Apart from all what I was explaining, it works with columns. That's why when you do, if you put anything that is not in a column, how will you know that this is a column? Is when you see a table, this first one is a table, and then the second one that is in front of it is a column. So on this calendar table, this is a column, date is a column, month is a column, month number is a column, quarter is a column, year is a column. So distinct ID works also with a column itself, right?
Okay.
So patient and then patient ID. It doesn't work with tables. So just you put your column there, patient and patient ID, you close your bracket and then you click on enter. Let me delete this. Mr. Shola, are you with us, sir? All right. Mr. Shola, can you hear us? Total revenue. When you hear the word total revenue, you just to go straight into sum. So let's sum them up. Total revenue, sum of visit costs, visit cost, treatment costs, and then lab costs. All right, so we have 84 million for total revenue. All right, so let's look at average visit. Average visit, we just use the average there, and then we'll now put, okay, average visit costs. We'll now put our visit cost, which is found in the visit table, and then the measure will be calculated accordingly. All right, so you could see this is our average visit cost. All right. Now let's look at average time. Have in mind, I'm clicking on new measure to create the next measure. AVG, average waiting time. As soon as a patient arrives, how long does that patient wait before it's been attended to? So they capture that time as well. So average waiting time is found under visit, and then length of this wait time that was captured before the patient was attended to. All right, so I've done that average wait time. You can still see it, 53.51 minutes. That is a longer time. All right. So let's continue. New measure. Let's look at total diagnosis. Total diagnosis. Count rows. Then we take diagnosis itself. Okay. Total diagnosis. Let me activate it. 650. All right. Severe cases. Let's look at severe cases. How many severe cases I was recorded? Calculate. I'm using calculate function now. Count rows. Diagnosis. Diagnosis of severity. We're looking at the severity column. And then we are picking only severe. We're looking at only severe. Is either a severe or critical. The two of them were recorded. So let's say severe and critical. So the two of them were recorded. So on this column, severity column, just filter out severe and critical, and then you count the rows for us, and then that will give us the total severe cases that was recorded. Right? As you can see, we have 132 cases, 132 severe cases. All right. So let's create emergency visit. Emergency visit. Now we're still using calculate. Total visit. And then we're looking at visit based on department, so that we'll get straight into emergency. Then we close our bracket. So we have 150 emergency visits, right? Now let's look at follow-ups. Follow-ups, how many do we have? We still use calculate. And then under calculate, we're using total visit. And then visit type should be equals to follow-up. Follow-up. Then you close the bracket, and then that filters out follow-up. We have 169 follow-ups. Let's look at average stay, average length of stay. All these are found on that same data set. Average length of stay. However, anytime you receive a data set, you need to ask some few questions so that you know what insight you need to filter out. Now, average length of stay, what does that mean? Is it how long the patient stayed to recover or something else? So we get the information if it is how long the patient stayed in the hospital before recovery. So average stay is very simple. We use our normal average. Then there is a column under visit that carries length of stay in days. And then you hit your enter. And then let's see how many. Okay, there's an average of 1.66 days. So that is a person stayed an average of let's call it a 1 day, and let's see that this should be almost, this is 70%. 70% of 24 hours. It's almost 9 p.m. if I'm correct. 70% of 24 hours. Okay. So that is the average day. And we need to know, what does the stay mean? Does it mean the severe cases stayed for 1 hour, I mean 1 day, or 2 days at most? So those are the questions you need to ask, and then you filter those things out. Abnormal lab, we want to look at some lab report, and then we filter what we need to filter out of it. Abnormal lab rate. Abnormal lab result or lab report. Very simple. Let's divide the normal, the abnormal with the total rows that is found under the status column. So let's use calculate, so that they'll calculate the total rows for us, and then we now do the division according to calculate the total rows. Calculate the total rows of the lab itself. Total rows found in the lab, and then under lab status, lab result status, that is abnormal. That is abnormal. Divided by the total rows found in the lab. If it was Excel, you could have seen some tooltip that will tell you, after this, put a comma, or close the bracket, or do this or do that. Now, because we're using divide, there is numerator, so the whole of this is numerator. The whole of from calculate to abnormal is a numerator, while the count rows represent the denominator because of the word divide there. So just press your enter. Let's just use this abnormal lab result. Okay, we have 0.24 abnormal lab information. All right, so let's look at malaria cases. How many malaria cases were recorded? How many malaria cases? All right, so let's use calculate, since we are counting a lot of stuff. Count rows of diagnosis. Count rows of diagnosis, and then diagnosis of malaria, when the diagnosis itself is equivalent to malaria. You need to spell it well before it throws us an error. And then you hit your enter there. Let's see how many cases with malaria recorded. 57 malaria cases. All right. Let's look at percentage of female patients when it comes to malaria. Female patient. Have in mind, once you have a female patient and it's also a percentage, the remaining is male. So it's just two percentage of female patient. We can just put percentage sign here for female patient. And then we'll use our divide function here. So we still calculate, we'll do count rows, we'll calculate from the total patients that registered. Total patient. And then let's filter through the patient gender to be female. Patient gender should be female. We're filtering through the patient gender to be female. And then we divide it by the total number of patients. Total number of patients, so that we could easily get our percentage. So percentage of female patients, let's know how many. 0.47. Wow. So that means male patients are more than female patients. So that means male might be 47. 100 minus 47 is 53, right? So male patients are 53. Have in mind, you can convert this 47 to percentage by clicking percentage here. And then it just tell you 46.47. We want to reduce the decimal place, which is right here. You can now reduce it to one decimal place, which is 46.7. If you reduce it completely to 0 decimal place, it will now be 47%. Okay, so let's look at revenue per visit. That should be the last for now, although there are others that we can still fetch. Let's just do this last one so that we can come to start doing visuals as regards today's class. Revenue per visit. How much revenue was gotten? So let's use our divide. Total revenue, right, divided by total visit. Hit your enter. Deactivate this. Let's see how much is it. Wow, 83,000. 83. Is it even 83,000? Let me activate this. Okay, so 83.64 thousand. All right. Now let's look at what can we produce from this data set as regards visuals. Now, there are some key information that should be posted out so that anybody that goes through your information or your table or your report can easily get the key KPIs. They are called KPIs, key indicators, KPIs,
Okay.
key performance indicators, right? KPIs. So there are those information that should be gotten at a glance immediately when someone looks straight on your table. Now, first, let's start with total revenue, and let's use card and gauge are used mostly to project some digital information, those catchy digits, right? So on the card that we just select, let's activate total revenue 84 million. Let me just reduce this some. All right. Have in mind, I can duplicate this card and shift it somewhere here. Although these are the arrangement we did, you can come and rearrange your dashboard as you wish. And then instead of having card on this second one, deactivate it and activate total patient that visited our hospital, total patient, 300 patients. All right. And another key information, total visits. Total visit we had is 1,000. These are key information that we need to have at the tip, at a glance. Now let's bring up gauge. Let's bring up gauge, and then let's put average time that a patient needs to wait. Now it starts from 0 to 100. The highest is 107, right? 0.01. Now the average time a patient needs to wait is 53.51 minutes. So we can reduce it. All right. And then let's still use gauge for emergency visits. How many emergency visits did we have? All right. Out of 300 visits that we have, 150 were emergency visits. Okay. Now let's look at other display. This group. Okay, using line, let's drag date. Let's drag date, and then under date and month, just click on it under date and month. I mean, yes, let's remove day. No, let's keep day. Let's remove quarter. Let's remove year. It's the same year. Let's leave day and month. Then let's run it with total visit. total visit. Total visit. And then let's bring in, as you can see, it has displayed total visit. This is from January to July, right? January to July. We're already in August. So this is a current data set. So we don't have August yet. August has not finished, but January to July, this is what the data set of the hospital will generate. Okay, so let's bring, let's look at the revenue in line with the total visit. So just click pick total revenue and drop it on secondary y-axis. Secondary y-axis. Now you can now see the total revenue has its own axis on the right, while the total visit has its own rating axis on the left. And then the money increases as the people visited, right? The money increases as the people visited. So with this now, you can also put trends so that you can see the trend as it is being registered. As people visit and the income grows, you can see the trend at, at a glimpse. All right. Now let's look at another preview. Have in mind, when once you are done with any preview at all, just click outside for it to be deactivated. If you don't click outside and you want to go and click something else, it will remove the previous information that was there and pick up the new information that you have activated. So once you're done with the preview, just click outside or you choose another visual. All right. So if you come down, there's what we call new card. New card is here. There's a new card there. You can use that to show severe cases. Severe cases. Just click on severe cases. All right. So severe cases. Very simple. I just keep that there. All right. So let's look at department versus total visit. And then we're using cluster column. Department versus total visit. Where can we find department? Where can be found? Okay, under visit. So department is found under visit. Then we can department versus total visit, right? We created total visit before, and then this is it. Total visit, department versus total visit. Okay, so let's look at bar charts. Bar charts, and then we're looking at diagnosis versus total diagnosis. Let's just go straight to diagnosis. Diagnosis versus total diagnosis. I hope we calculated total diagnosis. did we do for total diagnosis? Total visits. Okay. Since we didn't do for total diagnosis. All right. So total diagnosis, let me just, simple, we just do the new measure. We shall have done for total diagnosis. Or let's assume it's not there. Total diagnosis, new measure, equal sign. Just use your normal count rule. There's nothing there. And then you put your diagnosis there. You close your bracket, you hit the enter, and then the measure will be created. Okay, so coming back to our preview, we now have total diagnosis here. You just click on it. So it will now display a diagnosis versus total diagnosis. So we have pneumonia seems to be the highest, asthma is the second, gastritis, COVID-19, malaria, ulcer, sickle cell, typhoid, type 2 diabetes, UTI, migraine, and then hypertension. All right, so a lot of things can be done with your information here. You can go sort from top to bottom and all that. But for now, let's just leave it for you. Let's leave it as it is. We just keep it there. Or perhaps let me keep it somewhere here. Okay, so that was diagnosis versus total diagnosis. Let's look at the insurance type versus total patient. Maybe the patient here were staff or workers or government workers, so they have their insurance activated for them. HMO and other NGOs can come to help staff out. Okay, so we're looking at let's use donut chart. Donut chart. And then we'll look at insurance type. Insurance type. Insurance is under patient. Insurance type versus total patient. Total patient. All right. As you can see, our donut is created already. Breaking them into one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. NHIA, private HMO. Okay. We have self-paid and we have corporate body. And you can see 32% or almost 33 came from NHIA. Then private HMO took 27%. Self-paid revenue or whatsoever is 26. So the person paid for his ailment or his treatment. And then corporate body came to help on 14%. All right. So these are few information that could be gotten at a glimpse whenever you look straight into your dashboard. Now let's look at month and visit type. Which month and what kind of visit that occurs per month. And then we'll now check which month, like this, like August, a lot of people are falling sick because of the weather, right? So these are things that if you could get a full year information, can compare to know which month and what kind of weather. People are now saying they are catching a cold, that is malaria symptoms, right? Found in August. So we can now know what to do that before August. We can notify that people should get their mosquito net, or they should clear their grasses because of, their environment is bushy and all that, so that they could avoid mosquitoes and all that. So these are information that you need to have at hand, and then you predict solutions before time, right? So let's look at stack column. Stack column. This is stack column here. And then drag months to X. Let's come to calendar straight. Which calendar? Drag month to X. And then you drag your visit type to Y. Let's come under visit. And there's visit type. Drag it to Y. Everything seems to be on 100%. Let's check. Where's my date? Let's check this. All right. So it's cluster column. Because me, I was surprised. Why was everything is on 100%? Okay. So this is it. You now notice that May there was an increase in May and June, but there's a decrease in July. Initially, it started by an increase in January. So I don't know, maybe it's because of the cold. And then what kind of, you can also bring in some information to know what kind of information, what kind of diseases that constitute this visit, right? What kind of diagnosis that constitute this visit? Like we also see total, I just activate total diagnosis. But let us see, let's just activate disease type, if I'm correct. Treatment type. Let's look at treatment type. Let me remove diagnosis. No, it's not treatment type. I want to see what ailment that caused them to come to the hospital. Result status? No. What is this? Department. Okay. Let's bring department. Let's bring department. From department, we'll know what treatment type, treatment name. Okay. Okay. Let's look at department. Now you can see a lot of information is popping up, right? But I was looking for diseases. I don't know if you have any disease on this data set, so that we could see what disease constitute the June and July rushing to the hospital for any reason, right? But I don't think I could find any disease, because that's what I'm looking for. So that you now check uh, and also recommend accordingly, right? You check and recommend accordingly. I was thinking test name could come up with such, but let's just leave it like that. But I believe you understand what I'm trying to look for. So those are one of the insights you derive from your data, even as you get them filtered. Okay, so let's look at scatter plot. Scatter plot. This scatter plot. Let's look at scatter plot here. Then using scatter plot, you are looking at visit type and the month. Visit type and the month. The month and then visit type. Visit type on sorry, we just did a star column. Visit type was star column. So scatter, we are using an average time versus visit cost. Average time versus visit cost. The cost of every visit. The cost of every visit. And then you can bring in your visit type into the legend. And this is our scatter plot now. Average waiting time versus visit cost, and then the visitor the visit type will be in the legend, right? So this, let me expand it so you can see when they say scatter plot. This how scatter plot look like. These are scatter plots look like. So all the information will be scattered in accordance to how it occurred. Then you find out that follow up had up to 200,000 people. 200,000 naira, sorry, above. Follow up was generated such, cost, as you can see. and then the time that is allocated to this amount is almost 30 plus, right? So this scatter plot showing the information regarding the time, average time versus the type of visit that was experienced. Okay, this scatter plot. Let's look at metrics. Metrics is just like a table that displays some information in a table, right? It's just like a table. So just let's bring in department and then severity. Uh, where's severity? Department severity, and then total diagnosis can come to display its values. As you can see, it gives a tabular information based on the critical, the mild, the moderate, and the severe, based in all the total department that was recorded: cardiology, emergency, general medicine, laboratory, maternity, outpatient, pediatrics, and surgery. Okay, so that is metrics. Let's look at column again. Let's pick up column. There are a lot of views that ought to be extracted. A lot of juice can be extracted. Let's look at test name versus abnormal lab rate. Test name versus abnormal lab rate. Abnormal lab rate versus test name. Just click on abnormal lab, the one we measured, and then it will display accordingly. Cluster column again. Let's pick column again. It is explained there. Okay, let's look at diagnosis versus total diagnosis, and then we'll look at the severity of it. Diagnosis, take diagnosis to Y, and then you take total diagnosis that we calculated, total diagnosis to X, and then you split it by severity. Just pick severity and keep it in legend. Then you see the breakdown. Let's choose color. No, not stack. Normal color. Okay. All right. Now we have done that. We have, okay, this is the last preview. The last preview here. Mr. Joseph, I know you are still there. This is the last preview.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yes. The last preview here is department by total revenue. Let's know which department really brought a lot into the company. Department by total revenue. Total revenue. Stella is back. Total revenue. Then now saying out outpatient is the department that brought a lot of money into the hospital. Now, these are some of the visuals we could pick, and there are other visuals that can be gotten from the data set, a lot, a lot. But nevertheless, these are the ones that I could filter. I filtered out is it 14, so that it will not take much of our time. Filter out 14. Let's look at slicers. Let's bring in slicers. Let's bring in slicers. But first, let's bring in narrative here. Under insert menu, come and click narrative. Now, narrative is now telling you that if you want us to use Copilot, which is the AI of it, to create a narration of your data set, even of your preview data set and your jobs. Now you can now connect it with the AI. You go through the terms and activate it, and then it will now go through your data set and the previews and bring out what we call inferences. Bring out the inferences, some few narration concerning your data. But however, if you click on custom, the Power BI itself will do a little narration regarding your data. Very little. As you can see, it has gone to, now in mind there's no data, there's no internet. I didn't use Copilot as the case may be, right? So it now went through and gave me just a little of what it could filter out, saying total visit and total revenue are positively correlated with each other. That is now saying that May and June tie for highest count of visit at 158, followed by January and February had the lowest count of visit of 1 to 2. Now we now say across all 8 departments, total visit rank from 60 to 266. So these are the few narration you could come up with. But we have your core pilot connected with your internet to your AI. You could have a lot of information being, written out in this format, right? Okay. There's what we call Q&A. It's question and answer. If you click on it, you can easily ask any question concerning your data set. In fact, they can also give you some questions to ask if you don't really know what to ask. As you can see, it's trying to tell you, try one of these questions. It has gone through the data set to now have some suggestive questions that you can easily tell it to try, and it will give you the answer automatically. Now we have show emergency visit is one of the questions you could ask. Treatment sorted by quantity is one of the questions you could ask. What is the most recent calendar? It's one of the questions you could ask. Show test date, parakeet, and test quarters. Have in mind there is first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. We did not preview those insights. Now the question can help you go through total age over time. You can also ask it to bring out other subjective suggestions of the questions that is in its bank as regard your data set. What are the top labs by diagnosis cost? Right? These are questions. But once you have seen the one you want, you just click on it, and then you press your enter. It will go into your data set and filter out the answer. If you can see very well, it's loading. This thing is blinking, trying to figure out the information it will come up with. Now, once it is done, you find out that the information is out. What are the top labs by diagnosis? So this is what it could come up with. Top labs by diagnosis. I know that the total data set was about 600 plus. So it's now bringing each of them to bear. So you can ask any question using Q&A. Show emergency visit. You now say emergency visit is 150. It's okay. If you want it, you keep it. If you don't want it, you can go to another thing. Treatment sorted by quantity. Now it brings them out. That's why sometimes Power BI in relation with AI or Copilot can run all the analysis for you and present you with a dashboard automatically, right? In fact, when we get into AI with data analysis, you see what and what it entails, right? Okay. So let's bring in slicers, and then so we can now call that we can call it a night to continue tomorrow. All right. So slicers are found here. As you can see, we have new slicer. You can just come under this visual, just click on slicers. All right, so under slicers, you can drag, let's drag just two things there, month and then state. Just need just those two, variables to filter through. States. Months. Now, if you noticed, the months are not well arranged because we didn't use date of month. We only use the text of month. So most of the times it's good to make use of your dates and you filter out what you don't need. Especially date hierarchy. You filter out the year, the quarter, and just leave it at the month alone. So once you use your date, it will arrange them accordingly. As now you can see, it now takes the normal chronological arrangement of the date, which is January, February, March, April. Have in mind these sliders. If you click on January, everything on the preview adjusts to January alone. So you can see even the total revenue for January is 12 million, and the total patient, total visits, a lot of waiting time, severe cases in January is 19, and a lot of things changed, a lot. Let me even bring it down so that you could see. Now let's look at February. Everything adjusts to February. Severe cases we have in February. Severe cases is in February. Emergency time is 20. Let's look at March. March 25, April, May, June. All right. This data only stops in July. There is nothing in August, September, October, November, just July. So since we don't have any information there, we can filter out those months that are not part of the requirement, the months under coverage. So we can just filter them. We'll filter them out, which is December, November, October, September, and August. So since we have filtered them out, the only ones you will be seeing is just the January to July. All right. Okay. So at this point, this is 9:27. I don't know. I know you have a lot of questions, but we will visit them in our physical class and even other information. We'll even go deeper into changing the themes. There are themes that we need to make use of. We have themes here that you can choose to add it to adjust the preview of your your dashboard, right? So you can also create your theme as you wish. You can create your theme. You can adjust this same theme while customizing a theme, right, to suit your test as a case may be. But there's a normal default theme that is already there. All right, there are a lot of drill down that we need to do. Some functionalities are there, adjustment, formatting, changing the colors, changing stuffs, write-ups, dashboard, design, all those things, formatting of the dashboard will be done in our physical class tomorrow. We'll do this physically tomorrow again, and then we launch into adjustment and formatting, and then we'll continue it the same adjustment and formatting in our online class tomorrow. And then we can also go deep by fishing out some informations that are not here. Have in mind, I did a lot of calculation. Female patient over total patient, we need to show it. A normal average stay, we need to show it. We have emergency visit, we have a malaria case, we need to display those informations, and then we just call it a conclusion on Power BI and launch to another another analysis application. All right, Mr. Joseph, thank you for staying to this moment. I don't know, will you be able to come tomorrow so that we could continue this in earnest? Mr. Joseph, can you hear me? Mr. Joseph?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Teacher, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. You'll be able to come tomorrow, right?
I'll try my best.
All right, sir. Have in mind, I didn't even show you the states. So these slices of states, I don't do just these two for now. State and month, state and month. Then we can now filter to FCT in January and all that. Okay. Thank you for staying with me on this class. We'll see more and more insights by tomorrow. Then we continue even in our evening virtual class. It's nice having you. My regards to everyone. Then we call this a night. Thank you, sir. Mr. Joseph?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah.